All right. Welcome to another episode of For the Life of Me. We are in our purpose series, and I'm very excited about the guest that we have. We have Jhadee. Welcome to the show.
Hi, everybody.
So,
Hello.
introduce yourself, tell people what you do, all that good stuff.
Okay, so hi, everyone. My name is Jhadee Gordon. My job title is senior accountant. So I work at a privately owned company in their corporate accounting department in Atlanta, Georgia. That's where I live right now. Taking it back a little bit, I'm a graduate of Virginia State University, class of 2017. Come on, go Trojans, HBC in the house. So I graduated from Virginia State with an accounting and finance degree in 2017, and I worked in audit for 2 years. I worked at a really large audit company, branched out into the new role that I have now, and I run my own business called the Money Master Financial, where I help small business owners with their bookkeeping and just people with their personal finances and, whatever else you want, I can do that.
So I'm going to use her to help me, obviously, because that is not my expertise. So I work in the federal government as well as a budget analyst. And people think when I say budget analyst, they be like, oh, so you know numbers, that is completely different from managing your personal finances and managing like a business. Like it's totally different.
And I know a lot of like accountants that are horrible at personal finances.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, because it's deeper than the numbers. So, yeah.
Okay. So, how did you get into finance? And how did you come to start your business?
So, how I got into like accounting and finance is my mom is an accountant. And I should have said this in my intro. So, I was born in Guyana. I was born and raised in Guyana, and I moved to the States when I was 14. So, my mom, all of her life that I've known her living in Guyana, she worked as an accountant, whether it be a cashier job, and worked her way up to, an executive director of a not-for-profit. And she just worked a lot with accounting. So it's kind of in my family. When I went off to college, I didn't want to major in accounting. It was my minor. I wanted to major in economics because I wanted to do more with like policies and government work and, that kind of thing. And then Virginia State, but the economics department, they were having issues, and I wanted to stay at State because I did apply to Howard and I got into Howard, but it was too expensive. But the goal was to transfer after my freshman year. Ended up staying at Virginia State and just switching my major to accounting.
Okay.
And I mean, my classes in theory were hard. I shouldn't say they were hard. They were challenging, but I think overall, now that I've been working and I can implement all of those things that I've learned, it makes sense. It's pretty easy. Accounting is pretty like standard. Well, to me it is. It's pretty like.
Because girl, I took accounting and it was not my thing. I was like,
I think it's pretty easy. I think one of the biggest things that I think schools miss out on is giving students hands-on experience in a field like accounting. You have to know a lot of the terminology. You got to know like the theory stuff, but I feel like the hands-on really like would help people stay in accounting. So that's how I got into it. Just stumbled into my first corporate job. Honestly, it was really a breeze. I interned there, and from the internship got a full-time position, and then made my transition out of my first big girl job into my second big girl job, which was like another whole experience. And then my business started up. I started doing this in like 2017 with a friend of mine from Guyana. She reached out for like just on Snapchat for like personal finance, just help. And it branched off into her being like one of my first clients. And I am so proud of her because now she is a certified yoga instructor in Guyana, has clients, was able to quit her, was really able to quit her job and pursue this passion that she had. And now she's like super big in the country and has her own shop that sells like, organic products and yoga equipment. So really those steps, like from taking her personal finances seriously to like a business owner with a child and really she still checks in all the time and like tells me, oh, well, I did this, I did that. Everything is going great. She told me she was opening the business. I'm like, I'm just so proud of you. So just taking that first step in 2017 has got her this far at this point. So yeah, she was my first ever client. And then from that moment, I was like, I have to do this. Like, I have to find a way to get out of being a shy individual and I'm still pretty shy. I still don't really promote a lot of my work, but still
get out of that. We're gonna get
right. I gotta get out of it. But I think, and this is me getting out of it. I wouldn't have done this 2 years ago. I'm sure I would not have gotten on the podcast 2 years ago. So yeah,
I wouldn't have tried it about a month ago. So there's that.
Right.
I guess shout out to Asia.
Shout out to Asia.
Look at her behind the camera doing the most. We're putting us together.
Yes.
I think that's great. So from just working with your friend as your first client, is that what made you feel like this was a part of my purpose? Like, did that lead to, I mean, obviously it led to you opening your business. But what about that experience made you feel like there's more people out there who need me?
I think how easy it came, just how easy it was to teach her, how easy it was for her to grasp, what I was saying. And even for me to interpret certain things just in layman's terms.
Yeah.
I think it was that ease that made it this might be purposeful.
Yeah.
This might be one of those things that I should not capitalize on, but I should put in some more work, get to know a little bit more about the industry, work on certain things, my social media presence, reach back to Virginia State. Maybe I can come put on a couple, events and just get my name out there, get my work out there, get some experience. So, and that's what I did. So I would still go back to state when I was living in Virginia and give talks to the students in NABA. So NABA is the National Association of Black Accountants. Okay. And I was in our NABA chapter as a student. I went back a couple times when I was in Virginia and talked about personal finances and just had the conversation. And I think I'm glad I started with my friend because I realized how much people don't have the conversation. It's not even about all the information. You can find all that information, but to just sit down and have a conversation about that information with somebody and really okay, so how do I do this? How do I do that? Why should I do this? Why am I investing in this? Why should I invest in that? Why should I do this as a business owner as opposed to that? So I think that was the biggest thing is people are teaching, but nobody's really having just a conversation. We're human beings and we just want to feel like it's a safe space to talk about something like that.
I think that's the most important part, that it's a safe space. It, like you said, it's a lot of information out there. But I think the problem with it being an abundance of information is you don't know what applies to you.
Exactly.
In a business, you don't necessarily know, because what works for one person may not work for somebody else. Mm-hmm. And so, like you said, I think it's important for people to have the conversation as it relates to finances and things of that nature, so they can at least know specifically, okay, because my finances look like this applies to me, or because I want to start this type of business, these are the steps that I need to take in order to do certain things. So that's dope. I didn't even know that they had a National
Association of Black Accountants. Yes.
Because if I'm honest, I think I took accounting 3 times before I passed it. Because my first teacher was just trash. They just put numbers on. It wasn't, like you said, they don't teach it in a way that makes it applicable to life. So sometimes it's hard to grasp the concept of just a simple debit and credit concept, because you don't know what does that have to do with me?
Yeah, what does that have to do with me? How does this make sense? I totally get it, because if I wasn't somebody that would teach myself and really had okay, I got to do this, I got to get through school, I need to graduate. If I didn't have that drive and motivation behind me, I probably would have not taken accounting, because professors don't teach for the times, I should say.
Yes, I agree with that totally. One of the classes that I took in high school, I took marketing, and it was one of my favorite classes because he was about to retire. So he said, what I'm gonna teach you in this class will probably be one of the only things that you remember. He was like, you're not gonna remember trigonometry or any of that stuff, but what I'm about to teach you is something that you can use and apply for the rest of your life. And to be honest, it's stuff that I still use to this day. He taught us how to do our own taxes. He taught us how to do our own resumes, and he taught us how to interview. It was a whole class project for us to interview with him in front of the entire class, so he could critique and tell us what to say, what not to say. I mean, it was just a whole thing. And I utilize all of those skills to this day.
Yeah.
because it was applicable.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And even in like, you know, your bio, your chem, your even in your accounting classes, all of the coursework should be applicable to what has been going on in the past, you know, 2, 3, like relevant events. Like don't take me back all the way to, because we would do these fraud cases and I'm just like, I don't care about Enron. Yes, that's history. We could talk about it, but can we focus more on a case that was recent? You know, because a lot of times when they have big things like fraud charges and people come out with that, tax laws change. You know, that's one thing that triggers a tax law to change because now, okay, this big scandal, we have to change something. Accounting laws change, accounting rules change. So it's just like, okay, so those things change. So can we do something more relevant? Because they created these standards because of Enron. Cool. What has happened, you know, since then? What has been updated? So yeah, I think like professors, if y'all are watching this, any college professors, high school professors, teach like the relevant time.
I think the curriculum needs to change overall anyway.
Yeah.
They need to teach finance, personal finance, mental health. There's so many different things that we can talk about as it relates to the education system. So we know that your personal business, you help. Do you help with personal finance as well, or just with entrepreneurs?
Personal finance as well. So that's one of the things that I want to do, like in the future, is just offer personal finance coaching for free. Right now, I do group sessions, one-on-one, case-by-case basis. I realized that doing one-on-ones is very time-consuming, but with the case that you're in, I will, because at the end of the day, I'm a human being. I have a heart. Like I know sometimes, like it's hard to just be in a space with people you don't know talking about your money. Like us as Black people, we have this whole notion that we shouldn't tell people how much we make or talk about money. But like you should actually, like that's how we miss out on bags. Like that's how we really miss out on money, by not talking about money. So that's one of the things I'm like, that's why I'm going to keep it. But for right now, I do offer a group session. I'll be starting another group session the second week of September. I'm going to create content for that today and push that out on Instagram on Monday. So the second week of September, I haven't put a date on it, but I will be doing group sessions and they're smaller groups. I'm going to limit this one to 10 people. So 10 of you guys in the second cohort of my little class, and it's a 6-week program.
Don't diminish your class. It's not little.
It's not little, my big class of 10 people. And we talk about, you know, it's a 6-week course that touches on personal finances. We start off with the mindset around it.
That's the most important.
And that's why it's week 1. It's definitely from jump. We talk about mindset. And I mean, week 1 is a lot of intro, but like week 2 basically is like the mindset and, you know, your money mindset and how your emotions affect your finances, how your finances affect your emotions. And we get into the nitty gritty of that day 1 from jump. And then we go into, you know, the savings, the budgeting. Then we get a little harder into investing and just all those little things. And you have homework. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Awesome.
You have to do your homework. It's practice. It's practice. Like it's gonna help you to actually implement this in your life. And I took that away from therapy. So I'm in therapy and I've been in therapy for 2 years. And one of the things she said, she's like, I'm gonna give you homework because you gotta like put in the work. Like that's how I know you're putting in the work. That's how I know you're taking the time to do it. So she gives me homework. But yeah, that's what I do with the personal finance side. But I do want to get enough business clients that I can offer that as a free service. Because I'm a firm believer in like, yes, I need my money. I want to make my money, but there's certain things that I'm just like, I just feel so bad capitalizing off of people not knowing personal finances. Because I know some personal finance coaches that charge like $100, $200 an hour. And I'm just like, bro, a lot of people don't have that per hour, you know?
Yes. I mean,
and like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm just like, I get it. Maybe my market for personal finance is not theirs. So I'm like, maybe it's not, I don't know.
You gotta have your target market. And I do understand that because we are blessed to be a blessing. So you got to figure out your way that you want to bless other people. And I think that's dope. Speaking of money mindset, I think That is a great thing to dive into. So have you always been financially savvy? Like, have you always been very responsible in your money?
Yes,
See,
since I could
that's a
remember.
blessing. Because I can tell you
Yes.
now, I am just now getting to that place.
And it's okay. Whenever you start, that is fine. It doesn't matter when you start, just that you started and you are really intentional about where you want to go. But I've been this way since I was a kid. Like, I can always remember, like, I'd get money. We had an uncle from Canada. He would come, he'd give us money, and I just saved my money. Like, just.
Now, was that something that you were taught in your household? Like, just watching your mom and stuff like that? Or was that just something just was in your nature?
I think it was just in my nature. Cause I mean, everybody saved. Like, I think my mom would say, you know, put up your money and like, you know, whatever. But I think it was just like in my nature. Like, cause she shopped, she spent money. My aunt, like, cause we lived in a house with everyone. Everyone was in the house when we lived in Guyana. So like, I don't know. I think it was in my nature. I think I did see a little bit of it sometimes. But I just always had a stash somewhere. I had a piggy bank. She took me to open a bank account one time. And in 2013, I think, 13 or 14, I went to Guyana for Christmas and I had money in there. Like, I still had money in there. It's been sitting there for years. Like, at this point, I was in the States for like 4 or 5 years. So it's just been sitting there. And I'm just like, wow, like, I didn't know I had this money in there. So yeah, I'm a big saver. Well, used to be a big saver. Now it's a little different.
Yeah, you got some more knowledge, so you do a little bit.
Yeah. Now I know better and I do better. I'm a big investor now. So
that's dope. I ask that because what I think when I think about purpose, I always feel like people who are operating in their purpose, you can see glimpses of it from back when. Like, for me, for some of the stuff that I do currently, if I go back into my life, stuff that I didn't pay attention to before, and I'm just like, oh, God was kind of setting that up for me for now.
Yeah.
So it's always interesting to hear people's stories and how God has orchestrated some things or placed something on the inside of people that people didn't even pay attention, that you didn't even pay attention to at the moment, and pulls it out of you at the right time for you to bless other people. So I think that's amazing. Now, as far as personal finances for me, I think as of late, my mindset shifted. I did take a class with this lady named Pastor Sean Strickland, and
oh my gosh,
you love her, you know her.
So this is so crazy. I know her daughter, Taylor.
Oh, really?
Yes, yeah. And that's how I like know Pastor Sean. I used to attend the church like back in 2020. Like, I'd watch them on Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same class, but I did like attend one of her sessions. Like, that's so crazy. Yes.
I took her Soul Shift Money class, and it changed everything for me. It was so dope because what she helped me realize is it wasn't that I didn't know how to save or I didn't know how to pay off debt. Like, I knew all of those things, all of those techniques. I knew those things. My problem is that my mindset as it relates to money had not shifted. And so because I was operating from this poverty mindset, I was too scared to make any type of money moves, which caused me to make rational decisions like in panic from a place of fear. So I wasn't making logical choices as it relates to my money because I was looking at it as, well, what if I don't ever get any more money ever again in life? Like, so it just, which is illogical, but it really helped me. It helped me see that I had to really change my mind and really understand that God is my source and he's going to bless me at any time and he's going to take care of me because that's the type of God that he is. And if he did it before, then he'll do it again. Amen. And I can't sit in this place of closing my fist because not only can I not give and pour into other people, but I can't receive anything that way as well. Exactly. So yes, her class changed my life.
Yes. Oh my God, that's so crazy. It's such a small world. Like, such a small world. But yeah, like you said, like, he's a God of abundance. So, you know, he won't have his children without. Like, he will never go without. So yeah.
Yeah. I think the other thing is sometimes in church, people try to make you, in some churches, they make you feel bad for having money. Like, money is this taboo thing. And it's like, No, it's a resource and it helps me accomplish other things. It helps me to bless
Thank
people.
you.
And
That
if
is
I
one.
honor money more than I honor God, then that's a problem. But if I
Exactly.
understand what that money is just a resource and it's
It's
not.
it's really it's just, and I tell this to my class and everyone that I teach. It is really just a tool to get you from where you are now to where you want to be,
Yeah.
or get you what you want, what you need. Like, it's really just a tool, and I think we have to take away our emotions. Like, I'm giving away, definitely week 1 and 2 of the class, but definitely, like, that's one of the things I really stress on is, like, once you step away from it, like,
Yeah.
take those emotions out, it is really just another thing in this world to help us, like, get to the end goal.
This is awesome. So, as an entrepreneur, what is going into business for yourself? What is one tip that you would recommend in the very beginning, like breaking into business, as what you should do with your business finances? What's the first step that you feel like people should do that sometimes they miss out on?
I think the first step, and people miss out on this because, yes, it's a small business technically, but if you want this business to really take off and you are aiming, and just not as like, because I know people have side projects and side hobbies that they're like, I'm never going to quit my job to do this full time. But if you're one of those people that are really working towards something and want to quit your full-time job to, be a full-time entrepreneur, please get an accountant. Like, this is like no joke. I'm not trying to like plug myself or anything else, but honestly, get somebody to really sit down and run those numbers with you, those future figures, your present figures, and help you, even if they're not on payroll or you don't pay them after that one time, like, sit down with someone and run those numbers. Like, it's going to change your entire perspective on how you run your business. My finance professor, Dr. Sharma, he would always say, accounting is the language of business. And it is so true. If I can see how you ran your books last year, I can show you what you did wrong. I can tell you what to do better next year, and it possibly is going to make you more profit. So it's definitely one of those things, like, sit down with an accountant. Everybody's so hell-bent on having a CPA, well, not a CPA in terms of like the accounting work, but a CPA in terms of taxes. Everybody wants a tax person. They want, oh, you do taxes, oh, you do taxes. And that's why that's something I don't highlight, because people are missing out. Yes, you can do taxes, and there are a lot of people that do taxes, but there are a lot of people that do taxes that won't help you with your bookkeeping and won't help you clean up before they file your taxes. They'll just take your paperwork, file your taxes, and go. But you've missed out on so many better write-offs because you didn't have your accounting books clean all year. So get an accountant, sit down with somebody and run those numbers. Like, make a balance sheet, make an income statement, make a profit and loss statement, a budget, like not a play budget, but an actual like business budget. Run your business like it's a corporation. Like, no matter how small you think it is, set it up like it's a corporation, and you will see so much growth, and it'll make it so much easier when you're going to the bank and trying to get, your business credit, or trying to get a loan, depending on what business you're in. And, you're trying to pitch to investors. Definitely. It's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, sit down with an accountant, with somebody who knows how to do this and make those plans and make those financial models for you.
Listen, that's good. So just so y'all know, I found my accountant. Amen. All right. So we're gonna talk. Yes, because that's not my. I think the best advice that one of my mentors gave me is to understand like what you're good at. Know your lane. Yes. What you're not good at, there are people out there who can do it for you, who can educate you. Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like that's why we all here. And what y'all heard her say is basically, y'all need a plan. Y'all need a plan for your money. You need to, not just personally, but professionally, so you can tell your money where to go, and your money is not running you. It is so necessary to have a plan. It's just like in the Bible, in Habakkuk 2:2, when he says, write the vision and make it plain. You gotta have a vision for your money. So this was amazing. This was awesome. Thank you for coming on to my show. You're definitely want to have you back. Let the people know where they can find you.
So my Instagram is themoneymasterfinancial.co. moneymasterfinancial.co, and that's the website, moneymasterfinancial.co. So .com.co, moneymasterfinancial.co, on all social media platforms. I'm trying to figure out this whole Facebook thing. But that's where
Facebook has changed.
Right? That's where you could find me. You can also find me on my personal page if you want to see that as well. Jaded _JHADED. And this is a play on my name. Jaded, just put it together. So yes, you can find me there if you want to follow me on LinkedIn as well. I don't know, the people have all social media platforms. Right. I am Jhadee Gordon on almost everything. JHADEE Gordon. I have nothing to hide, so I'm myself on everything. So yes.
Okay, and we'll put all of that information in the description box below. So thank y'all for tuning in. And as I say in every episode, if we have said one thing for you to take away to make your life better, then we have done our job. So thank you for tuning in for The Life of Me, and we'll catch you next time. Peace out.